All right, we're here with Charlotte Flair at WWE Radio Row. Am I allowed to call you Charlotte Flair? Is that the name now? You have a last name officially?
Yes, sir.
I just want to make sure.
Yes.
The legacy is intact. We're good.
Right.
It's there.
Okay.
Every time I touch you, it's always Charlotte, and then suddenly out of nowhere, the last name got attached.
Yeah, it did.
When did that happen?
I can't remember exactly when it happened, but I think it was more of a you can do this.
Yeah.
You know, because that last name is such a
Okay.
strong.
So more like a passing of the torch. I was wondering if it was more like a people are looking for Charlotte and inadvertently finding the city in North Carolina, so we want to make sure her name pops up
No, I think
higher.
it was more of like you're doing it.
That's awesome.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
So, because when I first even started, you know, I didn't woo, I didn't strut, I didn't do
Sure.
figure four. My music was different. So
Yeah.
I think it's just an evolution of where my character is going.
Yeah.
Were you intimidated about doing that because you want to, pave your own
In
path?
the beginning, or with adding the name?
No, when it comes to doing the strutting and doing the wooing and things, did you want to stay away from that, or was that something you embraced right from the get-go?
Oh, it's been a work in progress. I mean, every day I think it kind of, how much do I
lean into that?
Yes, but it's funny because as I progressed with my talent, people would say, "God, you move just like him, or you make his mannerisms." But actually, that's just I just look like my
Just being natural.
It's genetics.
It's just second nature.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't think about it anymore. I just go out there, and if I feel it, I feel it. If I don't,
do you
not
feel
there.
like you're now that you have the name, now that you're talking about taking on that lineage? Does it feel like you're Ric Flair's daughter? You've seen him on TV for so many years. Obviously, he's your father. Does it feel real?
I don't know, because when he when he was my manager, my partner in crime, parent in crime, I would be in the ring with someone, and I'd look and be like, God, like my dad's. Like my dad, and he'd be like wooing, and it still never like clicked. Like that's the Nature Boy. So when I was in Access last night, when he got his statue, and I'm thinking of how much he meant to this business, and
Sure.
It's still hard for me to disconnect, because all I ever thought was when I was walking out with my dad, how am I going to, take not the spotlight but shine through and not be overshadowed.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, when he was your manager there for a little while, what's the best part about that, and what's the worst part about that?
The best part was sharing that time with my dad.
That's awesome.
And understanding, this is what he lived for. I mean, I've never met someone more passionate about this business and wanting to give his all to his fans every night than my dad. I think it's a good and a bad thing, but I put so much pressure every time I walk through that curtain. I'm like, I've got to get better on the mic. I've got to get better in the ring. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. And, they're putting me with my dad. And, this could either go really bad or really good. So it was kind of that was a mixed blessing.
Sure. And I was always worried about, is he going to overshadow you?
Yeah,
Just simply because, it's Ric Flair.
Yeah, and like, how could, even when his music hits,
Yeah.
that's even, but I just kept saying, like, you can do this, and my dad never even thought, about overshadowing me or stealing, he's just Ric Flair.
Right.
But for me, in my mind, it's the best challenge I've ever faced, I think. And pairing us and, facing it, head on was ultimately the way it was supposed to be.
How do you find those little snippets of your own identity? We know with the name and everything, and those are the tallest boots to ever try to follow up and fill,
Yeah.
sure. But we also know the immense amount of talent you bring and the unique style and identity you have in the ring. So what is it every day that keeps you going, that I am Charlotte and this is my path, this is the little things here and there?
So someone asked me, I can't remember exactly the question, but, what makes Charlotte so confident? Or it's, obviously I'm Ric Flair's daughter or whatever, but I know that I'm very athletic.
Sure.
And I'm extremely proud of my athletic background and, playing Division I volleyball, and I was a gymnast, and I have a pretty intense workout regimen outside of the ring. So that's where my, I guess,
because you're an athlete first.
yeah, where I'm proud of, like, they think, oh, she's just, she thinks she's the queen or this, but it's actually like the confidence comes from knowing my ability Now the other stuff, like, am I going to fall down the runway or am I going to fall down the aisle, or, getting nervous on the mic. But where I feel the strongest is knowing my background.
Well, I think that's a really important distinction because while your father is known so much for being a classic professional wrestler for so many years, you are an athlete first. You are a college athlete, and you had this kind of persona about that before even entering the ring. And I think that really sets you apart and makes you... Question for you, just changing the subject slightly, talking about college athletics. This weekend, NCAA tournament, right? I know where you're from.
My bracket got ruined.
As did all of our brackets, right? I know where you're from, but if somebody were to say... You got to bet money.
Ruined.
Who are you pulling for? Or if you had to pick one, this week in North Carolina, South Carolina, who would you put in the national title winner?
North Carolina.
You're going to pull for... now, if I remember correctly, you're an NC State person. Okay.
But
I'm an NC State fan, and you're pulling for Carolina.
Here's the deal, though. I started at Appalachian State. So I transferred to NC State, but I am just a fan of overall competition.
Okay.
No, really.
Okay.
You're talking about a Flair. She can't say anything bad about North Carolina.
Exactly.
She cannot do that.
I love the state, but I'm a Wolfpacker through and through, and I just hate the Tar Heels.
Charlotte.
I just hate them.
He believes North Carolina and Duke, they get all the calls. The officials are just out to get NC
true.
State.
I don't believe it. I see it week to week.
He believes in a conspiracy theory that's going on.
Do you have time to keep up with college athletics as much?
Well, my dad loves sports so much. If I talk to him, he'll be like, oh, so-and-so did well, or...
That's funny.
Yeah.
Who does he pull for?
Everybody.
For basketball?
Yes.
Everybody.
Everybody.
But he likes the competition.
Sure.
That's really... But NBA, he loves the Cavs.
Really?
Like, he loves LeBron. He's a fanboy.
That's awesome.
It's cute.
That's awesome.
So you got to see the statue unveiled.
I did.
What was that moment like? See that and see that cool statue?
The statue was awesome, but more just to see. My dad was so excited. Like, he texted me that morning before the unveiling. He was like, I just hope that you and David and Megan, as my brother and sister, are proud of me. But the detail on the statue was unbelievable. The hair, the old school trunks.
Right.
The detail of the robe, which I think was the Royal Rumble robe.
Oh, wow.
Black and butterfly.
Wow, yeah.
I mean, it was really done brilliantly.
Yeah.
Yes. It was amazing.
And then you're going to have a big fancy robe for this year's WrestleMania as well.
I am.
That I know you've been working on for a little while.
I have.
So how over the top is it going to be? I know you can't say too much about
I haven't
it.
seen it yet.
Oh, okay.
But because I wanted it to be a surprise, but the idea and the concept of it is dedicated to my dad.
Okay.
Oh,
Which
wow.
you guys, if you're a fan, you'll figure it out.
Can you give away the color?
If you're a fan, who's not a fan of
It's a lot of colors.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you'd go flat out.
Do you have
pink.
any teas for
I
us?
do want to do that robe, though.
But you did the pink
one.
one.
Day, the pink. I don't know.
Oh,
I
yeah.
feel like that's more of a SummerSlam
Okay.
robe.
Well, I suggested white to you, and you said you couldn't do
I
that.
wasn't going to do the spray tan.
Right.
But pink I want to do. That'll be my next one. But this one is a lot of colors.
So between when you started and then where you are now, how comfortable are you being Charlotte Flair, the WWE superstar?
I think it just gets better every day. I don't know. It's such a tough question.
That's all we do here. We do the tough ones.
But it's not. It is, but it isn't. I'm actually for the first time. I know I can, be my dad's daughter and still have my own path. But I still every day want to never rely on that. So just continue to work hard and get better and see where my legacy, an extension of my dad's, goes.
Right. And now you've got this tremendous opportunity come Sunday at WrestleMania.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, and you have created your own legacy, right? We know how the women's championship came back and to you, into your arms. So chat a little bit about the competition between your brand on Raw and the Women's Championship on SmackDown, which the perception was initially after the brand extension, Raw's women got the championship, they got the depth of roster, and the SmackDown women kind of had to fight to earn their space in the broader culture. And chat a little bit about the friendliness or the competition there between your brand and the Women's SmackDown brand.
Raw wants to be better than SmackDown. SmackDown wants to be better than Raw.
Are there tweets that go, or texts that go out after pay-per-view events? Becky Lynch says, look, just laid the SmackDown, top that next month.
Of course I'm texting my best friend. You just... That was awesome. No, absolutely, but it's just competition, and and if you think about it, Raw should want SmackDown to do well, and SmackDown should want Raw to do well.
Sure.
If we're doing well as a whole, then the company's doing well.
Definitely.
And
it elevates the other talents up as well.
Absolutely. But you want to have that competition. You want to be the best. And I'm just happy for the SmackDown women. I think they're killing it.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's been a great opportunity for them.
It has been, and I think that's been one of the best parts when it comes to splitting up the brands.
Yes.
Is that you've seen like Alexa Bliss. I mean, people didn't even think like is she going to get called up, and then she did, and she's done a great job with what she's done
she's
so far.
a shining star.
She absolutely is.
100%.
So if we get a draft again later this year,
yes,
what's it going to mean for you to have you and your bestie on the same show again, potentially?
That would be awesome.
Right?
Well, we have unfinished business.
Yeah, you do.
So, so when it comes to the ring, though, and if I'm champ or she's champ, it's more about the title than the friendship.
I always love it that the tighter we are as friends, the more we really want to hit each other.
Exactly.
That's right. You're my good friend. Wham.
Let's arm wrestle. See who's stronger.
That's right.
No, the thing about being on the same brand as Becky is we started together in PCB and we grew together, and then to have that Rumble moment, I would love the opportunity to revisit that because think of how far both of us have come.
Yeah.
We both went our separate ways. She went to SmackDown, I stayed on Raw.
Yep.
We were just touching the surface, and to come back to where we are today, I think it would be
That'd be awesome.
And I think there's so much to be said for the character development you've undergone in the last year.
Yeah.
You came in being kind of a known quantity.
Yeah.
Becky Lynch got called up, and she has done so much with the SmackDown brand to reestablish herself.
Oh, 100%. Straight fire.
Right, and that would make this such an exciting feud now as compared to where you guys were at NXT and everything else.
If it wasn't for Becky and our friendship with PCB, that was where my bad girl turned.
Gotcha, yep.
So...
Fantastic.
You never know what lies around the corner.
Exactly.
So
who knows? Maybe I'll have her to come to the dark side.
There you go.
Maybe
that'd be interesting.
And maybe you will once again be the Raw Women's Champion.
Come Sunday, 5-time.
You look lonely without the gold.
I know. I feel that's the only accessory I really needed.
There you go. Charlotte Flair joining us here at Radio Row. I always appreciate the time.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, guys.